U.S. authorities are warning of possible copycat attacks similar to the one seen in New Orleans on New Year's Day, which killed 14 people and left dozens more injured. According to the FBI, the U.S. Army veteran who rammed a pickup truck into the crowd acted alone. He was later killed in a shootout with police. The FBI described the event as, quote, an act of terrorism. The Bureau's bomb technicians recovered two improvised explosive devices in coolers at Bourbon Street, allegedly placed by the man just hours before the attack. The initial assessment suggests the attacker had a remote detonator in his vehicle to set off the explosives. For more, Toni Waterman joins us live from Houston, Texas. Toni, what's the latest on investigations?
Well, we're learning this morning, Wei Su, that bomb-making materials linked to the New Orleans attack have been recovered by FBI agents and local law enforcement at the suspect's Houston home, which is in this neighborhood right here behind me. According to ABC, there were precursor chemicals that were found inside the mobile home that he was believed to be living in, although it's not clear exactly what those chemicals were. But as you just mentioned, authorities did find 2 homemade bombs near the Bourbon Street crash site. They also found a similar device inside the suspect's rented vehicle and bomb-making materials at the Airbnb that they believe that he had rented ahead of these attacks. Authorities are also saying that they now believe the suspect acted alone. They had originally believed that he may have been assisted by other people, but that has been ruled out. They have also released some new details on the timeline of this attack. They said that the suspect rented that Ford pickup truck on Monday, on December 30th, and that it was on New Year's Eve that he made the 6-hour drive from here in Houston over to New Orleans. And it was during this time, authorities said, that he posted 5 videos to his Facebook page. In those videos, he proclaimed his allegiance to ISIS, saying that he joined the terrorist organization ahead of last summer. And of course, there was that ISIS flag that was found in the truck, although authorities are saying that there does not appear to be any evidence that this attack was directed from abroad or that ISIS was actually involved. And authorities right now are actually combing through his social media profile, along with 3 phones and 2 laptops that have been recovered, and also interviewing people that knew him to try to get a better understanding about this pathway to radicalization. The other thing that was quite disturbing that we heard yesterday is that the suspect had originally planned to attack his family and friends, but he was concerned that the headlines would not focus on what he called the war between the believers and the disbelievers.
Toni, there were barriers along Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and we're now hearing reports that there were security concerns about them even before this attack. What more do we know?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions right now being raised about the security in and around the Bourbon Street area. About 5 years ago, there was this confidential security report that was written up, and it talked about these bollards, these steel security barriers, these metal security barriers that are meant to prevent cars from crashing into buildings and people. And in this report, they said that those security barriers did not appear to be working and that they should be fixed. But it appears as if the barriers were being fixed only this past November, ahead of the Super Bowl. New Orleans is going to be hosting the Super Bowl next month, and that's when they started to get fixed. So there's a lot of questions about why this process didn't start a lot sooner. Of course, the French Quarter and Bourbon Street in particular is a very popular tourist destination. New Orleans had installed these bollards back in 2017 after this terrorist truck attack at a Bastille Day parade in Nice, France, the year earlier. So they knew that this was a vulnerability. And in that report, that is exactly what they said, that the area was vulnerable to vehicular ramming and terrorist attacks. Unfortunately, the barriers, according to a watchdog group in New Orleans, immediately became jammed with Mardi Gras beads, and they were malfunctioning. So the big question now is, why weren't they fixed earlier? The police chief in New Orleans saying that they were aware that they were not working and that they tried to put other measures in place, but ultimately they were defeated by a terrorist.
Oh, thanks. That Toni Waterman reporting on that New Year's Day attack in New Orleans. She's reporting live from Houston, Texas.